Well,
it's just this one here. You just like pull that out.
that's what we've actually.
So
I was actually lying about having to do the island.
and now you should be able to get things sorted out.
Yeah. But,
Okay, everyone get a deep lung full of the last air you're going to breathe nicely for a while.
Oh, took it at the wrong time.
too late.
Yeah, massively flammable stuff as well. So the guy with the resin hasn't got a fag anymore.
I've seen him.
Whoosh. Ooh, poncho.
Keep it coming.
It's Johnny's wearing it.
Okay. Stop.
Yeah.
Back on the table. So if one of those fireworks shards lands in this,
Or just as a delicate manoeuvre.
so it is flammable. If you get big lungfuls of it, you'll get nausea, dizziness, and you'll see the fairies. And you can chat to them about forming a union or something. But just have a sit down. So we just put 400. So there are actually 3 parts to resin. There's the actual resin itself, a catalyst, and an accelerator. So you might have to buy all 3 bits of that. We buy the resin and the accelerator mixed up, and then we just mix in a little bit of catalyst. So you keep the 2 separated on different shelves in the workshop, but now you hardly need any of this. So it's literally just 1 teaspoon of this to the first 400 grams. So
we need it when we put this in.
that now needs stirring. Who's going to stir it?
Give it a go.
Yeah.
Go off, dear.
Step up.
Take a lungful.
So gently, because a crucial thing about all of this is we don't want to mix any air in. Any air bubbles that are left in the resin will be weak spots in the eventual casted cake. So, but it's gentle but thorough. You want to make sure that all of that resin has had a nice little sniff of it. So yeah, gentle and thorough things.
It's like the cake and the icing.
Yeah.
It's this electric sander which we
It's underneath there. It's on the shelf thing.
The icing cake.
Are there any less toxic solutions to this part of the process?
That's cool.
Not casting it, which is what some turbines, those magnets will just be like that.
This one needs,
Those very turbines, you'll often find magnets embedded 3 metres into the mud where they haven't flown off, not being caked in resin.
Do you think that's enough?
Yeah.
I mean, I can stir it more. I just
No, that should be okay for now. Just one sort of whip all the way around the edges to make sure.
Yeah,
Yeah,
definitely.
I've done the edges
whip.
a few.
Depends how
Yeah,
much
that's
you
good.
like it.
This is the sander's not so much important right now for this neat resin because this is quite sloppy and you can see the air bubbles and they'll come out quickly. The next stage is when we start mixing in the wonderfully open talc. That will require quite a lot of stirring and that will have a lot of bubbles in it. So we'll do the sander then. Okay, that's good. So first stage, which one are we going to do first? I guess we paint on the stator bottom plate. So a thin coat of this mixed up resin goes in the bottom of the stator mould. Who wants to do some painting?
I'll paint if you like.
Okay. So yeah, take it over to there.
remembering not to sniff. Because I felt a bit funny when I stood up.
Although if you don't breathe either, that'll probably have the same effect.
Yeah.
Okay, so do you want to make a bit of a mix with the talc
It's the
stuff?
smell of that thing is really pungent.
I'm going to stand here right into smoke. It smells nice. It's fresh smoke.
I was just going to mix everything in there.
Oh, and it's like these stinging eyes. It's quite nice.
Is that going to be alright to paint on the top?
Top of the photograph and the other plate.
Very.
No, we don't need a big tub. We can just do a lid swell. Okay, and now so we'll put the first cloth of the stator in.
So it's not that one, it's the
This one?
the one with the smaller hole. Yeah.
Is there any particular way it does it?
Just straight in, I think. Yeah, that's right.
Okay, so now and then painting some of this again neat resin stuff to sort of impregnate. So it's a bit more of a dabbing action now.
So you don't want to rip the fibres of it apart.
So the principle of fiberglass is we're making this resin stuff is going to set like glass. If it didn't have any talc or any of this sheeting in it, it wouldn't quite be transparent, but it would look like a bead of glass, and it's quite a solid sort of thing. But the actual glass in fiberglass comes from the fact that these are fibres of very, very fine bits of glass, and which, although windows smash when you hit them, glass is incredibly strong in tension. Like you wouldn't be able to pull that shard of glass apart. So by putting this chopped matte stuff, it's got strength in loads and loads of different directions, and as soon as we set it hard using this resin stuff, the eventual object will have strength in loads and loads of different directions. So it's a compound with the strength of the glass, which is quite brittle if it was to just sort of be a sheet of glass, but it's using the tensile strength. Set hard. Right.
It's already sticking quite nicely to the paintbrush.
Yeah. Okay.
So we need to mix with talc.
Yeah, well, we're going with the colours first. We'll start measuring it while we mix it up and let the talc settle.
What's the talc do?
Right, the talc is a bulking agent. So resin costs about 30 quid for 5 kilos, something like that, and talc costs about 90p for half a kilo, so it's still not that much cheaper. Well, yeah, quite a bit cheaper. So you can basically mix up to 50% in and get a lot more mixture for your money worth, which is kind of an economic reason. But the properties of it are that it adds structure, sort of that the glass stuff would still be brittle in certain directions. It would be sort of shatter brittle as opposed to like tensile brittle. So you mix this in and it kind of gives it that sort of thing. Especially because certainly on other designs we drill through the stator. With this one we won't have to actually do any drilling, but if you were to drill through just the fiberglass you'd find that it would sort of shatter a bit in places. But one of the key principal reasons is a heat dissipation of the talc. So talcum powder has actually got a high quantity of aluminium in it, which is really good at distributing heat around, and so hopefully when this turbine's up in a really windy spot it's going to be making loads and loads of energy, and those cores are naturally going to get quite hot.
So
and if it was just in this cake of fiberglass keeping the heat in, the coils would fail.
So we want to put
whereas
them so
this
that they're
allows
in
the
the
heat
corners
to get
like
away
that.
from the coils. So yeah, thermal properties, structural properties. Plus, when you are drilling through them, it smells lovely. It's like perfume. Has that lid had any Vaseline on it?
That
Not
one?
quite ready for it yet, but
No.
This one.
So we're supposed to measure out the distances from the centre.
yes.
What was the distance? 87.
Yeah, 87.
Yeah, give it a really good coat.
So that distance is from the centre of this hole to the base of the coil. Okay.
So you mean here?
And does everyone remember from last night why it's crucial that the centres of those are in exactly the right place?
Otherwise the magnets
Yeah.
won't go through the right spots.
It was voltage when it went to zero, was it?
Yep, exactly. So we've got to make sure that it passes through the gap.
What happens if it's too far apart? If it stays there for too long?
Well, no, if the coils are too far apart, the magnet will actually be passing over, rather than the left and the right hand side of the coils, it will be passing over the bottom bit of the coil.
That's what I'm measuring.
So
The
rather
distance
than making a
between
plus
the magnet
voltage and then
and
zero and then a minus
space
voltage,
in the
it'll be
power
kind of making
Yeah.
a plus
We can kind of
all
do
the
that
time as it goes
by
past
placing them in the
that
corners
component of the bottom
mould.
bit, and not even a particularly good plus because it's travelling in the same direction as the wire. To make a good current run through a wire, you want the magnet to pass
they're
really
angles,
quickly
right?
straight past it, whereas in that thing it would be kind of passing along the same direction, just wouldn't really do it's just a waste of everyone's time. You want it to just really quickly see loads of copper and then nothing, rather than kind of drifting past the bottom.